Yeah, I might keep going on. You know what? I might. No rugby. No rugby at home, wasn't it? Yeah.
Welcome to this auspicious occasion at Twerton Park as we celebrate the contribution of a club legend. Jim Rollo is classed by many as Mr. Bath City, and now we have our chance to say thank you for his near 25 years of tremendous service as a player and on the management team. So being roundly applauded by many ex-teammates and friends, walks out alongside Isaac and Oscar. A warm reception on this baking hot day. He's a man who started his involvement with the Romans in the days where the Spice Girls were taking over the charts, and Tony Blair was gearing up to lead Labour into a landslide victory. Back in January 1997, 20-year-old Rollo was sent on loan to Twerton Park from Cardiff and made a handful of outings under Steve Minard. 2 years later, he did the same from Forest Green as Bob Odin sought reinforcements. In the summer of 2002, Alan Pridham signed him from Merthyr on a permanent deal, and it proved a masterstroke. While the side were effectively relegated in 2004 following a reorganisation of the divisions, Rollo stuck around and captained the side to the Southern League title 3 years later, with a playoff success in 2010. It meant leading the side out at the likes of Luton and Wrexham. Having wound down his playing days, Jim proved a useful ally for Lee Howells, Gary Owers and Jerry Gill, before finally calling it a day in October 2021. He's still a popular figure when he returns on the terraces at Twerton Park, and for one last time he is here to don the stripes again. I think we should class this as appearance 485 at a venue close to his heart, and as he is now surrounded by so many former teammates, faced now by Jerry Gill, the man who he stood alongside in the dugout for 4 years in National League South. Jim Rollo, of course, assistant to Jerry Gill for just over 4 years, assistant and close friend as well. Referee for this game is John Bishop, assisted by Brian Bishop and Dave Barnes. some of those just in attendance as well, not able to play this afternoon, but it's great to see so many familiar faces as it's Ryan Brunt of Jerry Gill's Southwest All-Stars to get this game underway. And we are underway on this baking hot July afternoon as Gill gets an early touch. Got the current Bath City manager and a couple of former Bath City managers out there. Lee Howes playing for the Southwest All-Stars as Byron Anthony spreads out wide, the only player out there who had no association with Bath City. He and Lee Howes didn't make an appearance. Lee Howes unused sub on a couple of occasions as Jim Rollo gets his first touches to Rogers, Canham. That's a Matt Coop, long-time friend of Jim Rollo. Connolly. Canham, part of the National League side. One for Scott Rogers to give chase. To Hogg. Let's get a ball in, but it's blocked at the near post from Byron Anthony, two former Bristol Rovers players. Byron Anthony had to retire early. Capped by Wales under-21s, but had to pack it in at the age of 30, former Newport man, as Canham's going to take this corner. There's better efforts, but he'll get another one. Comes last off Hours. Played under Gary Hours to Jerry Gill, and then assisting alongside him as another call comes in. Burnell. It's the first header away, and it's humped upfield. Rogers to give chase in his 40s now. Scott Rogers, but still appears fleetingly for Tiverton, side who he's joint manager of. And Coop, who's also moved into the management side. He's at Chippenham, assistant to Gary Horgan. Hogg. Rogers again. Facing Rob Cousins. Phillips. Just trying to get away from Anthony. It's a low ball. I think it was an attempted cross, but it's too close to Ryan Clark. You would hope wouldn't fumble that. He's still on Bath City's books as goalkeeper coach. Want to figure a couple of times this season. Murray. Tries to slip one in behind for Sean Rigg, but good anticipation from Mellor to Simpson. Two members of the FA Trophy semi-final side. Now Rollo. It's it delicately with the outside of his foot, but looking for Hogg, can only find a Manqua. Clark's distribution lets him down now. Need to Connolly. Now a chance for Edwards, but he shoots too close to Ryan Clark. Darren Edwards, who netted 25 in all competitions of the 2009-10 promotion winning campaign. He won the penalty at that end against Woking. Coop to Rogers. Simpson is charged down from Rigg. Hours back to Rigg. Just right out to Gill. He hasn't lost it. Plays it back to Manqua. Jerry Gill might be feeling a tad worse for wear. It's the team bonding evening last night after a 1-1 draw at Evesham's. Now over the top to Gill, who, despite the ball going up the slopes, not able to keep it in play. Then returns it to Jason Mellor. Still playing Jason Mellor. He's at Nelsey and Tickenham. I think just won promotion to the Western League. Scored a goal for Bath City as well at Chelmsford. Also had a goalkeeper score against him though. Canham. Sprays it out nicely to Rogers. Edwards. got a bit of room. Play across, and again Anthony is still there and dabs it behind for a corner. Darren Edwards was still playing in the local Bristol leagues a couple of years ago. Left varsity for Gloucester. Turns 42 next month. Joined the club for £4,500 from Yates. Proved money well spent. Part of 2 promotions as Harris back to Canham. Head away from Burnell. Cooper, I think, was lining one up with Ryan Brunt. And Rogers. Connolly. And then he came through to Edwards again, but covering from Lee Howes. I said he and Gary Howes, former varsity managers out there. Aidy Britton in the dugout. It's Kenny Hibbert, who managed Jim Rollo at Walsall and Cardiff. Canham. Phillips. Hogg. Edwards. Good interplay between former teammates. Hogg back across. Chance for Edwards. It was just too high for him. He's under a little bit of pressure from Cousins and can only head the ball over the bar. But Dan Edwards, who got 59 goals for the Romans in 185 outings across just under 4 years. Hours with embarrassment. He treads on the ball, but Scott Rogers, it'll feel sorry for him and gives it straight back. Gill coming off the shape. No, he can't find Brunt with the ball forward, and it's just through to Jason Mellor. Rollo. Canham. Still got that eye for a pass, Mark Canham, a technical player in his 3 seasons. Simpson, one of his adventurous runs forward, but runs into Rob Cousins, who left the club about 10 years before Sakani Simpson joined. October 2006 he arrived. Connolly. It's too high for Canham, and Murray can't bring it under control. And Rollo takes a safety first option back to Jason Mellor. Harris, sort of directing traffic. Had 4 spells at Bar City. Canham. Hogg. Phillips back to Edwards. He's got Simpson in room down the right. It's a decent ball in, but safe handling as you would expect from Ryan Clark. Ball over looking for Murray, but Mellor anticipated it well. 2 City careers sort of crossed. Also one started just after the other. Jason Mellor, summer of 2012 he joined just after Scott Murray had hung up his boots to begin as far as kit man for Bristol City. As Connolly didn't quite get it over Anthony. He's got it back. Simpson, Phillips. Was looking for Hogg in the middle, but Amankwa was well placed. Burnell. Intended for Rigg, couldn't find him. Last game, Sean Rigg was in that playoff eliminator defeat against Wealdstone. He came off injured. Connolly lost down possession to Brunt. Now it's a chance for Murray. Gone for the chip over Mellor, but couldn't quite get enough loft on it, and Mellor comfortably gathers. Canham with a nice ball to Rogers. Simpson. He tried to thread it through to Edwards, but couldn't quite find him. 2 players who arrived within about a month of one another late in 2006. 2 key figuremen of the promotion-winning side. 2 promotion-winning sides, really. Sakani Simpson was Player of the Year in 2011-12. He had 2 spells. picked a good occasion to score his first goal for the club. It was in the 6-0 win over Rugby Town when City lifted the Southern League Shield for the first time since 1978. Howells. Cousins. To Anthony. There was a couple of other former Bristol Rovers and Bristol City players who are unfortunately unavailable today, so good to see Byron Anthony out there, the former Gateshead. He's giving the ball away there. It's a gift for Phillips, and he accepts the invitation. Lee Phillips rolls the ball comfortably into the back of the net, wrong-footing Ryan Clark. And it's a great start for the Jim Rollo 11. Lee Phillips, the man who claimed the Golden Boot in the 2010-11 season, notches another one for the Romans. Congratulated as well from his former teammate, Scott Murray. It's Lee Phillips who also netted against City for Torquay back in 2007. Arguably one of his most memorable goals he scored for Plymouth against Carlisle in the game well known for Jimmy Glass scoring in the last minute to keep Carlisle in the Football League. He got 19 and 82 for Bow City, departed in 2012. Being sent out on loan, he arrived from Cambridge United. One of many new arrivals for that first season back in the Conference Premier as Brunt tries to volley it across to Murray in the middle, but it's got just too much on it and trickles behind. See Ryan Brunt back out there, who left the club 2 years ago. Following the playoff eliminator loss to Dorking, he scored a penalty in that one. He was pretty proficient from the spot. Rogers looking for Hogg, Manqua's out of cover. Cousins to Brunt, who was caught in the back from Matt Coop. Not the first time I've seen him concede a foul at Twerton Park, but Brunt's gifted it straight back to Harris, who was more defensive midfielder at Bow City. He's lining up at the back, winding down his career in the Welsh leagues. Phillips, buoyed by his goal, teasing a Manqua. It's a shot in, but it's well blocked from Anthony, redeeming himself. It's a very hot afternoon out there at Twerton Park, and Brunt now, he's managed to sneak clear of Harris. Chance of Brunt, one-on-one, and he's tamely shot straight at Jason Mellor. Ryan Brunt, who was a pretty good finisher in those situations usually during his playing days for Bow City, but didn't get enough purchase on it really, and it was an easy gather for Mellor, who shut down the angle well. Phillips, slightly loose touch though, gives it straight to Gill. Murray, dispossessed from Rollo. Doesn't like the decision, but he has a little smile about it. Still got the tricks of the trade. Delays giving the ball back to Scott Murray. Ball comes in again, chance for Brunt, but Coop's got his body in the way, runs straight into Rigg, picked up from Brunt again. He's found Howells in room. Howells plays it against Simpson. Now Burnell. And it's back out to Gill. Couldn't find the angle for the shot. Hours. His predecessor. Burnell goes down. Wants a foul off Harris. He's not going to get it since he looked to break with Phillips. Come deep to win the ball well. Now Rogers again. Just going to find Edwards? No, it's just too much on it, and Ryan Clark's out to gather. Scott Rogers played more central midfield during his time at Bow City. Son of Peter Rogers. Second cousin of Martin Rogers. All claiming title-winning medals across 29 years. Brunt. Cousins. Rigg. Just to get the other side of Simpson. He's tried in desperation to lunge in, but it's the wrong person to try and lunge in on. Matt Coop's not going to shy away from that. And he's now assistant manager at Chippenham. 336 outings for the Romans. Got nearly as many red cards as goals, those 6 reds, got 8 goals. Final one, a memorable winner against Maidenhead United during a flying start to the 2015-16 campaign. Connolly, Edwards. Looking for Hogg, but Cousins is a cover. He's 50s now, Rob Cousins, still playing. Howells. Burnell. Murray, 2 former Bristol City men linking up and getting another one involved now in a Manqua. Gill leaves it well. Shot from Murray, but again, it's too close and Mellor can gobble it up. Murray made over 350 appearances at Bristol City. He made 76 at Bow City during the time. He picked up a few injuries, so he made quite a lot of appearances from the bench. Good impact sub, 2 years in the conference. Manqua. Murray. Fended off. And Rogers, who's got a free roll, I think. He playing as if this is some sort of testimonial. Gill. Wants a foul, he's not going to get it. So shrugs reluctantly and goes back in their position. Cannon. Simpson involved, now Edwards. To be knocking around on what's a predictably dry surface during this heat wave as Edwards tried to play it behind to Phillips, but Anthony was there. But now sold hours a bit short there, and Phillips can pounce. Edwards. It's a low ball in, it was looking for Hogg, but a Manqua was there to cover. Burnell. Now Howells. Brunt. Gill. Rigg, but again, he couldn't quite latch on to covering from Matt Coop. In good shape, Matt Coop, 43 now. Arrived in 2003. Spell it Aberystwyth, he initially signed before, but did a U-turn before we enjoy a couple of lengthy spells at the club. Here's Simpson. Connolly. Cannon. Rogers. Callum goes to goal and it takes a deflection and it goes behind for a corner. Mark Canham got 11 in 121 appearances for Bow City. And players are going to take this opportunity to get some fluids on board. And temperatures above 25 degrees. They very much need it. Few of these players who've not been out kicking a ball for a long time. I think even had this been the rigours of National League South, we were called for a stoppage right now. Ady Britton in the dugout there. 𝗧𝗘𝗦𝗧𝗖𝗛 alongside it. He'd like to attend the game, but 𝗧𝗘𝗦𝗧𝗖𝗛 boss Dennis Kutri wasn't keen on him taking part during a busy pre-season for them. They'll be looking, of course, to claim the National League side title this year, one of the favourites. So we'll back to restart with a corner. You see Lewis Hogg getting on well with officials. He's having a joke with Dave Barnes. A few supporters looking for shade as well. There's Hogg's delivery, but it's headed over by A.D. Harris, whose last goal for Bow City was at that end. Might remember it well. It was a stunning strike against York in a 2-2 draw, one of our first home games back in the Conference Premier. It was his third spell with the club. Jim Rollo had made way, sort of snuck off. What's his day? There's Hogg. Tries to play over to Edwards, but in the end Clark's there to gather it well and throws it out to a 𝗥𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗢. Murray. Rigg. Burnell. Watkins now. Gill's made an adventurous run forward, but Watkins runs straight into Harris. Chance for Andy Watkins to say farewell. His last game was against Dorking, which is behind closed doors. I think Horgan should keep it in play. He does, but his cross can only find Rob Cousins, who very composed at that near post. It's the midfielder from late 80s to mid 90s before he moved on to Yeovil with Jerry Gill, who's on the ball now. Hours. Watkins bustles his way in front of Harris. Well intercepted from Gethin Jones, who's come on wearing the number 7 shirt. He started his career at Bow City as a right winger and then was converted to a centre-back in the 2005-06 season, where he claimed Player of the Year, ended up making over 300 appearances. Cannon's ball is unusually for him loose and goes straight through to Ryan Clark, who ended last season well. A couple of clean sheets as City staved off any threat of relegation. Campaign where Jim Rollo stepped down as assistant manager in October. Lee Howes there, he started as assistant manager too. Phillips, now Hogg, he's got in behind, the chance of Hogg, he's going to square it, it's going to be a goal, it's a second. Darren Edwards isn't going to miss those, and 8 yards or so out, they just exploited a gap in the defence of Jerry Gill's All-Stars, and Darren Edwards, who got his 25 goals in that promotion-winning campaign, he's got another one there. And he puts Jim Rollo's 11 2-0 up. 25 minutes on the clock, a straightforward tap-in for Darren Edwards. So the legs might not have the energy that they used to, but he's still got that footballing brain. He was there in the perfect place to just tap the ball home. Got a couple of goals at the top of the non-league pyramid. Watkins tried to get there before Coop, failed to do so. Before he moved on, he and Phillips who have scored. Phillips, ironically, sort of more or less replaced Darren Edwards early on that campaign. And Coop receiving a slightly risky pass, which you wouldn't see there in a competitive game. Plays it to his boss, Horgan. Rogers asking a bit of Horgan. Said Hogg is there to capitalise. Build on his assist, Hogg. Phillips. Horgan. Hogg, who missed his kick. I'm sure he'll say it was deliberate. I don't think it was. Murray. Certainly not missed his kick with that pass. Straight into the chest of Watkins. Again, straight into Matt Coop. They're brief teammates at Twerton Park, Andy Watkins and Matt Coop. Matt Coop played in one of Jim Rollo's games as caretaker manager in the turn of 2016. Harris there, he's got carrying something in his arm. Might be just sock tie or something like that. Horgan. Come on for 𝗧𝗘𝗦𝗧𝗜𝗠 Simpson for the second goal. Great to see all those members of the former Bound City back four, but at the moment of the attack doing some questions with Phillips to Edwards. Tried to return the favour and didn't quite come off and was behind for a goal kick. Cornishman, who started out as a rugby player as youth. You can see why his build. Very strong, persistent footballer, Lee Phillips. 𝗥𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗟𝗢. Burnell. Watkins. Rigg. To Howells. Now Murray. Running at Horgan. Still Murray's made room for the shot, but he can't keep his shot down, and he finds a near empty Bristol End terrace. There's a chance for another substitution. Scott Murray not wearing his trademark number 7 this afternoon. Sean Rigg clearly won the argument with that, and on comes Mark McKeever, a very popular figure during the promotion-winning campaign of 2006-07. Several of his corners led to goals from Chris Holland. Sadly, they won't be able to replicate that today. Chris Holland, who was pencilled into play, has actually been struck by COVID, so I hope he makes a swift recovery. Horgan's been finding space. Hogg. Oh, he looked for Edwards, but 𝗥𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗢 again mops up the danger. Happier time at that end than his debut, Kevin 𝗥𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗢, where he scored an own goal against Oxford City. Murray. Rogers somehow does enough to win the ball back. Quite unconventional. He got caution for simulation there, I think, Scott Rogers. He just arrived on time for this game. He had issues with the trains, I think, on the way over. Gill. Loose touch means that McKeever is there to collect. Now Gethin Jones. Turns 41 next month. 2 promotions, nearly 350 outings. He's sort of venturing forward now. Former Cardiff man. Phillips. Edwards, those two have linked up well. 12 years since Darren Edwards moved on. Horgan. Rogers. Coop. Phillips. Now McKeever. Oh, he feinted to shoot. Thought better of it. Got the 10 goals at Bound City in 76 appearances. Former Republic of Ireland under-21 international. Coop. Trying to make Jerry Gill's All-Stars do all the running. They're not going to appreciate in this warmth. There's now Phillips. Goes for goal, and he's just about missed the target there, but some Patient, good, tidy build-up play. Lee Phillips just couldn't quite keep his shot down. Canham wearing the number 16 he did during his time in the Conference Premier. He missed the start of one season, actually, as part of his coaching duties, which he's now involved in more heavily. Retired in his early 30s. Coach of Bristol City, went on to work in the Premier League. A man who lived in Bath during his time playing for the student lot. Hogg. Chance in behind where Edwards is forced wide. Edwards again. Favoured left foot, it slips through the grasp of Ryan Clark, and in the end Cousins manages to hack it away. Cousins with a header away. He's lining up in fullback, said more midfielder for Bath City. Made over 1,000 appearances at half-time in this game, and it's Jim Rollo's team who have the 2-goal advantage thanks to those goals from Lee Phillips and Darren Edwards. So we're now all set for the second half in these scorching conditions. Jim Rollo's side with that 2-goal advantage. Looking to build on it in this second half. They're going up the slope in this heat. A few players in their 40-somethings may not be overly comfortable. Jason Eaton now on the number 11 for Jerry Gill's side. Matt Coop still out there, determined as ever. Even in a testimonial, you wouldn't want to come up against those two centre-backs, Matt Coop, A.D. Harris, as we now get back underway. Morgan, who came on late in the first half. So Martin Paul, who came on at the breaks, it's the second all-time leading scorer, but at the moment it's the National League South leading scoring Watkins to Burnell. Gill with a first-time shot, and he shanked it off target. Doesn't look overly happy with himself, trying to steal his good mate's thunder this afternoon, Jerry Gill. Irony that both he and Jim Rollo scored their first goal for the club on the 28th of September, so some 11 years apart. Both FA Cup second qualifying round tied against Welsh teams. 168 games together as manager and assistant, Jim Rollo and Jerry Gill. Mello, who, like Gill and Rollo, is a Nailsea resident, and his local side. Murray keeps it in play well, shows good strength. The chance is an early goal in the second half. It's Jason Eaton who smartly volleys it back across goal. Gave Mello no chance, and Jason Eaton halves the deficit. Jim Rollo's 11 now lead by just those 2 goals to 1. I think the referee is probably saying to Jerry Gill, that was a better finish than yours a few moments ago, mate. Good finish from Jason Eaton, who was top scorer in 2002-03 with 16. Released by Gary Hours, his teammates this afternoon. So very early in the second half, not long after he'd come off the bench, Jason Eaton. He still looks in good shape himself. He's 50s now. Here's Gilroy. Made many half-time substitutions, plays it at Rogers. Rogers is offside. Brian Bishop then, the much-needed baseball cap. Kevin Amankwa ready to get the game back underway. After that epic 3-2 win over Torquay United at the start of 2019, although he'll probably say his career highlight was playing in the 5th round of the FA Cup with Sutton against Arsenal 2 years previous. Very few men who've played against both Arsenal and Naphill in that competition. Anthony. Cousins. Burnell. Burtby involved there, one of those who's come on. This would arguably be the best goal at Twerton Park against Southport back in '94. Anthony. Burnell to Rigg. Watkins. One over the top from Birkby, but he's got just too much on it. Yeah, the club for around 18 months, Dean Birkby. 76 appearances to those 25 goals. Still comes to Twerton now and again. Jerry Go actually set him up, as he just did then for that wonder goal. And replicates some magic there, but Coop is ahead of Eton. Kiva is robbed from Amankwa. Right way under Watkins, one-on-one Watkins, he's rolled the ball into the back of the net, but the flag is up. Celebrations short-lived. Dave Barnes on the near side. And Andy Watkins thought he'd got his side back on level terms. He's left frustrated. McKeever. Cannon. It's a flying start to this second half. A game shortened, mainly because of the heat. They managed to pack in plenty of entertainment. Gill. It's crossed too close to Mellor. Hogg wants to run at Cousins. Mayhew tracking back. Hogg goes for goal, it's blocked. Out to Rogers. Hogg again. Chips one, it's too far for Paul. Now Horgan. It's an hour chance for Hogg, and he's put it over from about 8 yards out. He really should have scored. Leaning back slightly under pressure from Gill. And he's looped the ball into the Bristol End terrace. Lewis Hogg slowly but surely gets back to his feet. Player for Bow City for some 6 years. Signed for £4,000 from Weston-super-Mare. As Dave Lukins, the former varsity physio, comes charging on. I think Scott Rogers may have taken a knock. 10 years as physio Dave Lukins spent at the club. He thought he was going to be called upon then, and clearly he's not. Rogers, with a smile on his face, I think he just wanted to see his former physio have a little dart across the pitch. I'm sure he'll forgive him for eventually. Great to see Dave Lukins back here at Twerton. Now Birkby tries to bring the ball under control. We can't get the other side of Jones. Canham. Gilroy. Now Rogers recovered from that invisible knot to Gilroy. Still Gilroy's gone down under a challenge. He's won a penalty for Bow City. I think it's Cousins who's been penalised, and Dave Gilroy won many a spot kick during his years as a striker for the Romans. Has got another one now. Got 52 goals in 105 games, so pretty much won every other, and he was very reliable from the spot. Scored 10 out of his 11 penalties. Can he score this one? No, he can't. It's saved from Ryan Clark. A good height for the goalkeeper. And clearly those few years away from taking on penalty responsibilities, it's meant he's been a tad rusty there, Dave Gilroy. He put it near the corner, but clearly not hard enough, and good omen for Ryan Clark. Now chipped over, chance of Hogg. He's saved from Clark again. And the attempt of a chip from Martin Poole just looped onto the roof of the net. Well, all going on in the space of a few minutes. Martin Poole there, who was a penalty taker for Bow City himself, but clearly Gilroy fancied it. Lewis Hogg too used to have the odd go from the spot, but it remains at 2-1. A good save from Ryan Clark. Flung himself to his left and saved a couple for Bow City. Who knows, there might be a shootout lurking around the corner. FA Cup or FA Trophy this season. Coop there penalised, gets away without talking to. Mayhew. Son Tom played for Bow City in the 2021 season, scored in his last appearance against Havant. Might keep this in play actually now, Mayhew, former Gloucester boss. Chips it back towards Gill, but got too much and too close to Jason Mellor. Dean Clark, the prod out wide to Rogers. Clark again. Scored in his final outing, the 6-0 win over Rugby. Like 2 years at Bow City. Gilroy. Paul. Cunham hits the bar. It was a great effort. Clark would stand still. And Mark Canham is desperately close. Well, Jim Rollo's men are knocking on the door a little bit here to extend their advantage. Mark Canham, any of his goals, set pieces, free kick and penalty. Couldn't quite get one from open play, but it was a splendid strike. And just mentioned Jim Rollo, he is now coming back onto the field. Lewis Hogg and Scott Rogers making way, so Carney Simpson and so on. But Jim Rollo gets another outing on this special afternoon for him and congratulates, I think, Jason Eaton for that fine goal. Jim Rollo didn't get many for Bow City. He got the 9 in 484 games, but eye-catching one against Eastleigh, the last of them, arguably the best. Amankwa. Birkby, Gill, Mayhew. 3 spells at Bow City, the last of them in 2000. Murray. Header away from Rollo, now left back. He had to spend the end of his career really with Bow City as Gilroy tries to hold off Amankwa and he wins a free kick. Much to Amankwa's displeasure, and stops it being taken quickly. Old habits die hard. I'll have to go again, because referee John Bishop indicates the ball is still rolling. Almost certainly stationary. Canham finds Simpson. Now Harris, but he's stopped from Anthony in his tracks. Watkins. That goal chalked off. To Anthony, who's propped up on the left wing. 𝗥𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗢 tried to flick it back into his path. And find Horgan, who was a teammate for Dean Burke when he scored his last goal for Bath City against Chippenham in 2002. Here's Simpson. Cross and it's a decent chance for Horgan, but he couldn't fully connect. Great ball in from Simpson. It's knocked all the way through to Jason Mellor. Scarlett Simpson's probably most notable assist was at that end against Forest Green in the FA Cup 2009, game where Jim Rollo said it's the most nervous he's ever been playing for Bath City. Couldn't eat or anything, they stayed in a hotel before the game. 𝗥𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗢𝗢 playing the ball out wide there, he was involved. Simpson also part of that epic win at Grimsby. Coop now, he's in the squad that day. Simpson. Harris. Canham tried to find Rollo. Great if he could notch one this afternoon. Horgan. One from Gilroy. He still looks in very good shape, Dave Gilroy, now in his late 30s. Tried to play it through to Paul, but couldn't quite find him. Dave Gilroy, one of Martin's many strike partners at 𝗥𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗢𝗢 Park. Rigg looking for Watkins. Rigg again. Tewis trying to do some artistry. Watkins, a chance for Eaton. Oh, brilliant block from Simpson, got in the way. From the second from the former Cheltenham man. This ball takes deflection and well gathered from Mellor. A good second half this. 𝗥𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗢𝗢 now. Ended his playing days at Cirencester. He's 40 now. It's an awkward back pass from Clark to Mellor. Has hit both posts. Mellor's got a hand on it. Rigg has managed to nick it off him. Plays it across. He hits the post again, and somehow it stays out. Well, that was an extraordinary episode, really. It was Clark back to Mellor. Hit the bar, hit the post. Rigg against the post, and somehow they escape with that goal. Comedy of errors, and fortunately it's not a leveller against Jim Rollo's men. They're now doing some probing at the other with Paul. Shot from Rollo, but he can't keep his effort down. A fairy tale finish for Jim Rollo there. That's what Byron Anthony is saying. It was a back pass because he handled it after to Jason Mellor, but more friends now. Some more substitutions being made. It's like Jason Mellor's final act, keeping out that back pass. Will be it for his afternoon. Richard Fay is getting ready to come on. Both of them former Clevedon stoppers. A.D. Britton now. A baseball cap. Kenny Hibbert in the dugout as well, who's had managed Jim Rollo at Cardiff and Walsall. Much needed drinks break like midway through this second half. Steve Jones is getting ready to come on as well. He wasn't sure whether he'd be able to take part. He's had a few issues with his knees. Clearly couldn't resist. 51 now, Steve Jones. 20 pre-seasons, I think Jim Rollo did at Bath City. This time he'll have a summer off. He's on the ball now. Paul. Harris. Steve Jones gets an early touch. Predecessor captain for varsity was Steve Jones to Jim Rollo's. Rich Fay, who's since moved on to management. That's at Porton, Bitton, Bridgewater and Street. Melksham as well. He's been involved with. Gill. To a midfield battle with Harris, which he comes off second best. Simpson. Floated one, but it's straight into the hands of Clark. Be buoyed by that penalty save. Clark. Dave Gilroy was a former Bristol Rovers teammate of his in the early 2000s. Referee stopped the game momentarily. Horgan. Harris lets it run to Gilroy. Rollo. Receives it back off Steve Jones. Morgan. And it's gifted back to Southwest All-Stars with Murray. Burkby into Burnell. Tries to shrug off Harris a couple of times. Midfield Terriers and won a free kick. Too much shirt pulling, the referee's liking there from A.D. Harris. He now uses his hands, different effects. He's moved into boxing. Burnell's free kick's not the best though, and Gethin Jones can head it away. Harris, who enjoyed winning the Southern League, he won 2 promotions in his couple of spells. Get back to that in a moment. Here's Gilroy. Horgan, run overlap. Chips it, but too close to Ryan Clark. A.D. Harris, who, the night they won the league at Yates, they went to a curry house. He lifted something off the wall, which he thought looked exactly like the Southern League shield. And as he went to hold it aloft, realised it weighed a lot more than anticipated, and he fell into somebody's table. Story which A.D. Britton recalled to me during a podcast a couple of years ago. Rollo. Involved again, Harris. Standing upright for the time being. Horgan. Shoots, but it's blocked from Anthony. Howells, who's gone back out there, City manager for 4 years. Rig is offside. Jim Rollo actually succeeded Lee Howells as caretaker boss at the turn of 2016. Sean Rigg in the picture there, who was signed from Jim Rollo. Signed from Jerry Gill, sorry, when Jim Rollo was assistant boss. Some tattoo work on Jerry Gill. Cannon. Gilroy. Asking a bit of Coop. There's the dugout where he's more familiar with now as assistant boss. Come back now with 𝗥𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗢 to Rigg. He tried to play it to Watkins, but Simpson's there to cover. He was still playing a couple of years ago, Scarlett Simpson. He's at Mangotsfield, local club. Clevedon as well, he's on the books of. Gilroy. Trying to do it all alone. He's gone down under a challenge of Howells. He's not got the decision this time. That looked more foul than the penalty he did receive in the first half. Howells away with that one, I think. Important as a coach, Howells at Arch, as he's more commonly known as when Gilroy signed for the club for his second spell. He had a brief loan spell in 2002 as a youngster. You can't keep that one in play, can he? Former Bristol Rovers man. Still plays in the odd testimonial. Watkins. Canham. Exchange passes with Harris. Horgan. Paul, is he going to get there before Anthony? He does, he plays it low, but Eaton back there covering. A role you'd associate the striker with. Birkby, that's a nice ball to Watkins. Appreciated in the crowd, which is just shy of 300 this afternoon. So, a couple of minutes remaining. Jim Rollo's side still leading the way. Those goals from Darren Edwards and Lee Phillips. Gilroy. Goes a goal, but all sting taken out of it from Anthony, and it's an easy one for Ryan Clark. Howells forced back a little. 𝗥𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗢. Burnell. Plays out nicely to Murray. Now Watkins has got a bit of grass to venture into. Anthony, it's a volley from Birkby and he can't get it on target. Well, it was at that end where he scored. It's arguably the greatest goal ever scored at Twerton Park back in September 1994 against Southport, but on this occasion, on this very special occasion, he can't repeat the feat. Here's Rollo. Oh, what's he done here? He's spotted Clark off his line, but he's got his angles all wrong. And sadly for him, it drifts off target. I think he knew it the moment he shot. He didn't connect with it fully. Jim Rollo, hands on his hips. That would have capped the day off nicely. And he knows it. He won't mind about that. He doesn't want to steal all the limelight. Man in the lime shirt there, waiting to get the game back underway. Murray. Watkins. Birkby. Burnell. Cousins. 1,000 career appearances, Rob Cousins. He's got an own goal against Bow City as well for Forest Green. At the moment, just marvelling at the work of Murray, which fancy tricks, but Simpson calmly heads it back to Rich Fay. Just the one appearance for Bow City's first team, a 3-0 defeat at home to former employers Clevedon back in October 2006. Horgan. Gilroy's in room again. The shot was going wide, comes off the head of Cousins. Gilroy, that one was definitely on target, but again, it's an easy hold for Ryan Clark. Okay, just over half an hour of the first half. We'll see how much we're going to play in the second. Been an entertaining spectacle. Of course, isn't really what today's all about. It's just all about marking the contribution made to Bow City from one Jim Rollo. Here's Gilroy. We've seen plenty of the ball in the final third, and he tries to play up the outside of his foot to Paul, but couldn't quite get full connection on it, and it's an easy take. Martin Paul got just the 115 goals for Bow City, only behind Charlie Fleming. Scored 30 plus in a couple of seasons in the late 90s under Paul Bowden. Many a hat-trick as well. And we got one in a very short space of time against Crawley when Bobby Zamora was up alongside him as Watkins tries to chip it towards Birkby, but it's too high, and Birkby acknowledges the effort and he goes behind for a goal kick. Watkins, who became Bow City's National League South leading scorer, got brace against Dartford. Now it's time for Jim Rollo to bid his farewells this afternoon. He's going to exchange handshakes with everyone out there, friends and teammates. He applauds the fans, as he did many a time in his near 25 years service at Twerton Park. All these people watching and all those players playing, just here to say thank you really for everything he's done for the club. The song being played over the PA system. Many a true word said, "We love Jim Rollo." And off he goes. John Relish as well there in the hat, just sharing a hug with Jim Rollo. Kenny Hibbett as well, his former boss at Walsall and Cardiff. Cedo John Barty. So Adam Connolly, that midfield cog. And Lee Phillips, who scored this afternoon. Darren Edwards on the ball now, who came on for Jim Rollo. Not sure whether he's going to play in the same full-back role. I think he'll be happy to press on forward, and new acquaintances with Dave Gilroy. He's not off to the best start. It's not the best distribution to Steve Jones. Good spells at Yate as well. He joined City from that 4-figure fee. Absolutely go to Yate in pre-season next week. Watkins. Knocked out wide to Murray. Shot, and it managed to creep through. Fay was wrong-footed, I think. Perhaps unsighted, but he's done enough to get that body in the way. Loose ball at the other end now to Paul. He's got Gilroy alongside him. Plays it to Gilroy, and he's pulled it well wide. It's not been Dave Gilroy's afternoon in front of goal. And that is the final action of this game, a memorable occasion at Twerton Park. Absolutely, Jim Rollo's team run out winners. Goals in the first half from Lee Phillips and Darren Edwards. Jason Eaton halved the deficit just after the break, but it wasn't enough. Dave Gilroy had a penalty saved from Ryan Clark as well in what was a thoroughly enjoyable afternoon. Great to see so many familiar faces back out there. Chance to say goodbye to some of them as well. I'm sure they're going to share stories as well with supporters and stay on for the odd light ale, I think. It's been great to see them all back together. So many of them who won Southern League titles, won promotion via Conference South. 3,635 appearances were there from Jim Rollo's side, and between the two combined, you're looking at over 5,000 with over 500 goals. And of course, Jim Rollo, the focal point of that. Only Dave Mogg, Tony Ricketts and Tony Goff made more outings for Bath City than Jim Rollo. 484 across 4 spells at the club, and much more involvement off the pitch as well. A club that's so close to his heart. And it was great that we could finally make this occasion happen. And say a big thank you to a man whose company we have been very grateful for. And he'll always be welcome back at Twerton Park, and great to see him there on the terraces. And he still meets up with Jerry Gill on a regular basis. He's former manager and assistant. Jerry Gill, Southwest All-Stars. Great to see so many of them back today as well. See Rob Cousins got plenty of minutes out there. Jerry Gill himself as well. He shrugged off what I imagine was only a few hours of sleep last night, as the players are now going to gather for one final huddle. And 30 of them or so involved today. Picture they'll all cherish. So a day enjoyed by 286 in attendance. Been a long time in the making this day, but it's finally come around, and it's been every bit as successful as we'd hoped. Great to see the likes of John Relish and A.D. Britton back here. Gary Howes and Lee Howells are playing, and of course Jerry Gill out there. Alan Pridham as well, man who signed Jim Rollo in 2002, the first one to sign him on a permanent basis, and what an inspired move it proved to be. So memorable afternoon, a brilliant afternoon at Twerton Park comes to an end with Jim Rollo's 11 running out winners against the Southwest All-Stars by 2-1. But it was more than just a game of football out there today. Thanks once again to Jim Rollo.
Bristol City